Darren McCarty and Neil Rule can give. It's time for Big D Energy, live on Woodward Sports. Join four-time Stanley Cup champion and legendary badass Darren McCarty and the golden voice of Neil Rule, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., as they give their takes on all things Detroit sports. The #1 midday show in Detroit is on. Welcome to Big D Energy.
It's happened, folks. You did it. We demanded it. Detroit stood together. We all banded with one common goal in mind. And we did it, everybody. We got a WNBA team back in Detroit. Let's give it up.
Woo!
Oh, where's the cheers?
Woo!
Where's everybody going nuts?
Woo!
I will have you know the Shock won the championship like 4 or 5 times, or not. How, did they win?
I think they won
got
twice.
3.
Twice?
I'm not sure.
I don't remember. Was it twice?
I
Check.
think it was twice.
A WNBA team is back in Detroit. My name is Stick. That is Sean Belesian. Neil and Darren McCarty are out for the day. We have Spencer Raxter in the TV booth doing good things. Simeon is here. And, of course, Chase in the sound booth. But, I mean, Spenny, we could just take this prep and throw it out the fucking window. We're doing 2 hours WNBA basketball, going over the Shock, who we're taking in the expansion draft, what the new uniforms are going to look like, who the head coach is, what the minor league system is. We are going to deconstruct how they're going to build this thing out. Sean, you're going to cover salary cap, how we're looking, who they got to target. And like I was telling you before the show, just my luck, we'll get Angel Reese on this team, and I will absolutely have to hate this entire franchise.
You nailed it, though, before, like, legitimately, you nailed it before the show started. I think this goes back to the stubbornness of sports fans, okay? It really does. And this is why I say, as a hockey fan, I know what hockey is because we're stubborn. We're stubborn. You're never going to give hockey a chance. If you don't like it now, it's not going to win you over. How often during the course of somebody's life, Stick, seriously, think about this. How often during the course of somebody's life, like me, I say this to you all the time, Chase, race car driving, it ain't for me. If you like it, like it. People get mad, and it's like, well, you getting mad at me isn't going to make me like it anymore. And I think that same dynamic goes on. And, of course, as you well know, there is part of the element out there that sits back and says, well, you're just a sexist. You're just a... Nah, I don't like it. Do you want me to lie? Okay, I'll lie. Man, I love it. I am dialed in every night. Oh, so much. I couldn't name 3 teams in the league. I'm telling you. Sorry.
Well, and listen, let's be honest. WNBA has picked up steam over the past couple years,
Absolutely
right?
It has.
But what they're going to do is then water down the product. So, like, they have, like, probably a handful of good players. They're on a handful of good teams. And now you're going to have 8 more teams. Now the teams are going to suck. Like, WNBA is just getting ahead of itself again. But that's okay. Somebody thinks they can make money off of it. Hopefully the guy that registered the Detroit Shock and took that trademark and bought it when it was available gets to cash in. Because that should be the name. I mean, people are discussing in the chat right now what the name of the team should be. The Detroit Cougars, maybe?
Hey.
You guys like that?
I mean, we have the Lions, the Tigers, the Panthers. The Cougars would round out the Big Cat bunch.
I'd be down for that.
You like it better than the Shock?
I
mean, like, it follows the Pistons. It's a car.
Yeah,
theme.
yeah, let's do it.
I don't know. I think we've spent enough time on this. But I was trying to stretch it out, but there's nothing more I can do with this topic. It's 3 years, right? We're gonna get a franchise in 3 years. They said
29. I think they said 29.
Okay, so
QB Michael G with the super chat in there with Peyton Canado. He says 1 month until preseason week 1. Just saying. Go
now
days,
there's
baby.
what we were talking about.
31 days.
32.
Well, it'll be game day. 31 days from now. Game day. I love every second
of August.
No, it's July 31st.
I thought it was the 2nd of August.
No, July 31st.
Well, then I'm wrong.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. July 31st. It's 31 days from now. And for people like me, and I can give a shout out to my boy Simeon right now.
Shout out.
54 days until week 0. Not
That's right.
that I'm keeping track. I'm
That's
just not.
what we're really
I'm not
excited about.
keeping track in any way, shape, or form. But no, you know what it comes back to, Stick, is all right, so Chase,
Yeah.
does the WNBA coming to Detroit do anything for you?
Not really, no.
Simeon?
No.
Spenny?
Nah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's why.
I mean,
That's
it's
what
cool.
it's at.
It's cool. Like, it's cool.
Yeah, if you like it, I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I'm happy that, I like having all the major sports in Detroit, and it's cool to have the WNBA. I'm not going to go to any games or anything, but
I'm going to say the right things. Listen, I have a daughter, and I'm happy for her
There you
that
go.
she gets to see if she wants to achieve
This
something on the
one's for
highest
the
level, that
girls.
she can go be a professional basketball player here in Detroit. So there.
yeah, for sure.
There you go.
And
I
that-
position that. I have a daughter. I'm allowed to speak on women's issues now.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And
Before a year
it's-
ago, I couldn't say shit, but now I have a daughter.
You're beautiful.
You're beautiful.
it's great for young ladies throughout the state of Michigan to be able to go see that. You're not doing it for me. Not gonna lie. I mean, good for them. The Detroit Shock was great. I didn't go to any Detroit Shock games when they were here. I don't plan on. Yeah, it's. I don't know how people like the same people that are like, I don't watch the NBA. The NBA sucks. Are like, yeah, WNBA team. All right, okay, all right. I don't know. I watch basketball for the freak of nature athletes
Right, yep,
going out there
right.
and flying through the air above other people and like
Doing things I can't do is why I watch sports, right? Like that's the awe of it. Like, oh my God, I can't hit a baseball that's going 97 miles an hour. Oh my God, I could never make that catch. Oh my God, I could never make that throw. Like, that's where sports is endearing. Like, you're watching the best of the best do something you wish you could do, but you know you never could. Like, that's why you watch golf. Holy shit, look at that shot. Like, I can't make that shot.
It is one of the most humbling experiences, if anybody has ever had that opportunity, is to be around a guy or to be around guys that are at that level, okay? And even if you play with a guy, like you play hockey with a guy where you knew at 14 years old, okay, cool, this guy's going to the NHL. There's no doubt in my mind. And he eventually went to the NHL. And then when you get with them, you are so far away from what they do, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
And that's why I always giggle when I hear guys say, our guy, shout out to Ryan Ermanni. Years ago, he used to say, I could get around on a fastball. And I'd giggle at it. I would just giggle at it. No, you couldn't. There is no possible way you could get around on a fastball. I know you had a fantastic career at Grosse Pointe South or wherever it was.
Deal
It
South.
ain't happening, man. It ain't happening.
It is different when you play ball with a professional athlete, even when it's not their sport. Like, Joik played on my softball team a little bit.
Oh, I remember that.
Joik had to literally turn around and bat left-handed so he wouldn't hit it out. Like, that's how strong of a guy he couldn't help but hit that out. And
They're
then
different
normally
levels
if you
of
hit more
human.
than two, it's an out. So he's like, I got to bat left-handed.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't.
yeah, they're different levels of human. They're not real people. Showtime Tate, I think it's Devin the Dog in the Woodward Sports Chat. He says, super chat. He says, thank you, Stick, for the MI Canna event. # the GOAT.
Dude, Meet Connect Puff.
That was awesome.
That was cool as hell, and shout out to the MI Canacast that was
Shout
out
out,
there. They
yeah.
had me on for a little bit talking about the industry. It was a lot of fun on Thursday. I don't think anybody had more fun than Darren McCarty,
No,
though.
kid in the candy store.
It was his Halloween.
Yeah.
It was his New Year. Like,
I thought
he just
I got
went
a good
booth
haul.
to booth, hopping around with his big bag. And, like, when him and his crew left, I shit you not, Sean, they had, like, 4 bags each, like backpacks.
Yeah.
Just shit, like piñatas, stuff falling out as they're waddling out of this event.
It was
You
pretty
know what's
crazy.
funny? This goes back to what you think you know a lot about that stuff, and then you get around guys like Mac or my guy Harry, who was out there.
Harry's the one who put it on.
Harry's the best. I mean, I've known Harry for 40 years.
And Harry, thank you for allowing Woody out there. I brought my dog out there.
Oh, did you really?
And everyone's like, I didn't know we could bring dogs. I was like,
I've
But Harry
known-
didn't say a word. Harry was great. We're now Facebook friends, me and Harry.
Harry's
out
a
Harry.
good dude. I've known Harry for over 40 years, and literally we call him the doctor, because you think you know about that stuff, and his knowledge is so far beyond. It's so he's the doctor. If anybody has a question, we hit him up, and Like, he'll go, nah, you shouldn't do that. You should probably do this, especially if you're like a neophyte. I'm a guy that doesn't do a lot of that stuff. So, no, Stick, you know what? This is something. This is the time of year where you have cool events like that, or you have a cool event like Spenny you did yesterday.
Yeah, shout out to the Old Miami. Shout out to Dina from the Old Miami having us out there. She's awesome. They had like a burger food truck across the street, and so I went and got a burger before the show. I was eating it, and Dina brought me this pickle beer. It's like a pickle sour beer that she was like, this isn't really something that you just like casually drink, but it pairs with a cheeseburger perfectly, and it was amazing. Like, it was really good.
I am so intrigued.
It was literally like pickle juice, just carbonate. I don't know. It was great with the burger. And shout out to White Claw.
Have you ever been to the Old Miami before that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I feel like that's that's you personified in a bar.
I go to the Old Miami a lot.
If you could be a bar, you'd be Old Miami.
I go to the Old Miami a lot. I was literally just there the night before. Like, I was there Saturday night too because my boy was having a show there. So
it's a Midtown legend. Midtown overall.
I love the Old Miami. That's a great spot.
Completely underrated. Great spot.
Yeah. So shout out to Dina for having us out there. It was a lot of fun.
Yep. Is there any more White Claw tours?
There is one more. Second Best. I believe it's July 11th. July 11th at Second Best.
Brady was sending out like the list for football appearances already for pregame show at Second Best and whatnot. Like, it's here, guys.
Oh, I
like
love every second
we're literally gonna wake up tomorrow and football's gonna be here.
Isn't that crazy though? Like, we should all literally be lathering up right now in what the Tigers are doing. And don't get me wrong, I am. Okay, I'm in. I went there on Friday. It was absolutely miserable. Not only the game, but the humidity, all that crap. I was just a cantankerous old man. I'm not even going to lie, okay? But with that being said...
Great word, cantankerous.
Spenny, I'm in football mode right now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, I am. That's no disrespect to what the Tigers are doing. I can't wait to see what July 1 holds, and obviously the draft over the weekend. And the Red Wings have a starting goaltender. We think more on that coming up, Stick.
Hopefully,
but this is a situation. I'm in full football mode right now. This is the worst time for me too. Is that home stretch?
Yeah, that
home stretch is just the absolute worst time because it's like you can see it but you can't grab it.
It's hard not to be. I mean, with the expectations that this football team has, with what we're expecting to see, and the schedule, I think, is giving it even more juice. Like, I know Lions fans were scared of the schedule at first, and then when we broke it down, we saw like the second half of the season's pretty fucking easy. But still, knowing that pretty much every week for the first half of the season, you're going to be seeing the Lions go up against a Super Bowl contender. That's fun. That gives it even more juice.
We were talking about this on the Lions Weekly Report yesterday, though. Make sure to check it out Sunday morning. You guys know this year's going to be miserable, right? And what I mean by that is all the people bitching about the first place Tigers with an 11.5 game lead and all those people bitching about that, what are they going to be saying about the Lions?
Oh.
The doom and gloom out there about the Lions this year is going to be astronomical. I hope we're just all ready for it.
Because this is the first year in 3 years that you're going to see regular season regression?
Yep.
It's the first, and like people won't know how to just receive it as natural. Right? It's like, oh, we were 15-2 last year. They're not 15-2. They had a failure of a regular season. And if last year wasn't just the ultimate lesson in regular season's nice, playoffs are where it's really at, though. It doesn't really matter what you do in the regular season as long as you get to the dance. That's when you will turn the corner, and that's when you want your team playing the best ball. It's not even about playing the best ball early in the season, too. The Lions start out 3-3. I ain't panicking. I don't care. I don't care.
Nope.
But if they end the season on an 8-game winning streak, heading on in and just steamrolling motherfuckers, I'm happy.
You slapdicks. I mean, you can hear it right now. You slapdicks at Woodward. They won 15 games last year and only won 12. They lost 3 more games this year. Right. It doesn't matter.
Nope.
The payoff is January and February, period.
Yeah.
That's where we'll find out if the Lions pass the test.
And that's when the conversation needs to be had, right? This is not really grading them throughout the year anymore. It's a pass-fail now. There's no longer, the first quarter of the season they were an A. No, it's pass-fail. Super Bowl or failure.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all there is. Spenny, we got to take a break.
Yeah, let's go to break real quick. We'll come back. We got a lot to talk about, honestly. A very packed weekend. You got the Michigan news. You've got the Malik Beasley news. You've got the Red Wings news. We're going to get to all of it coming up. But first, let me tell you about Les Stanford. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. They've got deals for everybody. You can get a 2025 Envision Preferred all-wheel drive $259 per month, 2025 Hummer EV SUV $699 per month, or a 2025 Sierra Double Cab Elevation only $169 per month. Scan that QR code on the screen and get to Les Stanford today. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. Les Stanford together. Let's ride.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
The Massage Chair House in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Make sure you go check them out. They've got the largest massage chair showroom in Michigan. They've got a chair to fit every budget. We had the Pharaoh Q edition in here. That was the Rolls Royce of massage chairs. We have a different version in here now. I'm not sure the name on it. More moderate. They have
Made in America, though. I saw that.
Made in America. Made in America. So make sure you go check it out. Scan the QR code to see the massive inventory. Like I said, they've got a chair to fit anyone's budget. It's the Massage Chair House in Bloomfield Hills.
I think this is the Larocco.
The Larocco.
All right. Well, welcome back to Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Stick, filling in for Neil Rule. That, of course, is Sean Belesian. You're not filling in for Darren McCarty. That's where you normally sit on Mondays. So
Yeah.
this is your role.
No, I like, dude, are you kidding me? Especially this time of year, there's so much going on. A blockbuster in the NFL. The NFL flexing their muscle again. That's what's happening. Oh, aren't you cute with your little NBA draft and you little hockey
What an
guys?
embarrassment.
You're so adorable. We're gonna take the full news cycle again. That's what the NFL does.
Can we talk about just like how amateurish the NBA and NHL draft come
1000%.
off compared to what the NFL provides you? And you could tell like they're watching the NFL like, oh, we got to try to do this. And they had their little GM interviews at the NHL after the players were picked. They go over to the video wall and talk to the GM, which was a fun touch, but there's no hype. There's no buzz. In hockey, you're not going to see the guy for 3 to 4 years anyway, so there's really less. I'm going to forget who the hell they drafted this year by the time he's relevant. You just watch these other things go on, and then you're like, oh my God, there were 750,000 people in downtown Detroit 2 years ago. There's not 750,000 people watching that thing in totality.
The NHL draft is the worst thing in sports. Like, the worst.
But you can tell they're trying to do it.
It's so bad. They tried to do it last year, too, where they brought up the 50 people on stage every pick. Awful. I thought this year it was going to be Batman, boom, makes the pick, shakes the hand, leaves the guy. That's what you should do. Time-proven formula that works in every other sport. No, they got them Zoom calling in.
Zoom calls.
All the GMs in the war rooms. Awful. They couldn't even afford to pay Charles Barkley enough money to fly out there to announce the Flyers pick. They Zoom called Charles Barkley in. And I was like, the NHL draft is by far the worst thing in sports.
And the worst thing is, too, okay, unless you follow the junior ranks, you don't have a clue. This goes back to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I could make up, like I made up the 6-star recruit, Milky Waters. Okay. You could make up. Did you see that kid from Saskatoon? Oh, my gosh. 6'3", 235 pounds at 18 years old. What a steal in the third round. is going to know.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, unless you follow it. I was very fortunate to call junior hockey and do some college hockey broadcasts in the past, so I got a chance to know a lot of these guys. But even then, there's, okay, this kid comes from the Swiss Junior Elite League. Okay. Did he play for the Swiss in the World Juniors? No. Okay, cool. It's a myth to me.
To me, the Fringe fan, they're all Darko Milicic.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they are. Hey, he played at Hemo Farm when he was 15 years old. He was playing with men. Cool. What's that mean to my franchise?
Right.
Are they going to win next year? Does it get any better for the Red Wings? Did it get any better for the Red Wings?
Yes, in the regards that they got a better goalie. They legitimately, and we were having this conversation over the weekend. John Gibson is a better goalie than Peter Mrazek, period.
Yes.
Okay? Is John Gibson the answer for the next couple of years? No.
In the league, where does he rank? 1 to 32 starting goalies.
Down near the bottom. No question about it.
So we went from like 32 to 28.
I think, you know what it comes down to? All right, so if he can stay healthy, that's one thing. He's unfortunately been Mr. Glass for a while. He really has been. If he can stay healthy, he's been a pretty good goalie. Steve Yzerman historically has kind of taken that veteran goaltender that a lot of people kind of were counting out and had success with him. Dwayne Rollison down in Tampa. I mean, he literally took a rag and went like this and wrung out every last magical drop in him, and they took an incredible run. Is Gibson that guy? I think that's what they're hoping for. But if you're a skeptic, I would be very skeptical about that.
Trying to catch lightning in a bottle. Like, obviously, earlier in his career in Anaheim, he was lights out. He was a Vezina contender for multiple years. He's made multiple All-Star games. So he's got the talent. But like Sean said, he's been injured. 2 years ago, he had a very bad season, but that was partially because of the injury. He comes back last year, and in limited time, he looked really good. So if they can get a healthy John Gibson, that is a very, very big upgrade from the goaltender, because I told them there were two things. I've said on Woodward Wings, it comes out 10 o'clock on Saturday. Shout out. Make sure you go watch them.
Shout out.
The two things you can't go into this season with if you want to be an actual playoff team, like you want to be a legitimate playoff team, you can't go in with Talbot and Mrazek as your goaltending duo, and you can't go in with Tarasenko and Justin Hall on your roster. So they made one of those moves to get John Gibson, who is an upgrade for sure. We'll see if they make the other move. But I was happy with the trade. And Steve Yzerman won 2 trades in a matter of 24 hours, because Seattle, who you got, obviously you moved Veleno to get Mrazek. Seattle's buying out Veleno. He's a nothing burger. And then you get basically John Gibson for Joe Veleno, because you traded Mrazek and then a second round next year and a 4th round pick in 2 years that you don't care about.
This is what nobody wants to hear, though, and I'm sorry, at least I've been consistent with this, Spenny, and I think you agree with me here. His moves compared to what the rest of the division are doing are 2 entirely different things.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I've said it for 2 years. This is the best division in hockey. And it's a really weird division because you have teams that are not going. The Florida Panthers aren't going anywhere, folks. They aren't. Tampa, not going anywhere. Toronto, not going anywhere, especially come playoff time. All right? They're going to have their cute little regular season, and then they're going to go Maple Leaf come playoff time. And then you have Boston, who's kind of, as we use the term in the fall, beginning their initial descent, right? They're starting their initial descent, and you saw that last year, and they traded Marchand. The issue right now in this division is you have the Ottawa Senators, and in particular the Habs, that are simply put doing a better job of a rebuild than the Red Wings.
Absolutely.
That's the issue right now in this division.
We were
But we have Steve Yzerman.
we were talking about
How's that
it
possible, Sean?
on the draft show, that all these teams zooming by the Red Wings on the proverbial highway, and right now you're about neck and neck with Philadelphia, and Philadelphia is getting ready to pass you if they make another big move. Getting Zegras, I think, is a move that puts them right about neck and neck with you. But like you said, Ottawa, Montreal, those are the teams passing the Red Wings on the highway. You've got New York, who they're not going to stay bad for long. they're going to be pretty good here. And then, like you said, Boston never really rebuilds. I would be surprised if they moved off of pasta and just went into a full rebuild. But we'll see. The Red Wings still have a lot of moves that need to be addressed. They have a lot of time to do it because free agency hasn't started yet. But
and don't forget, your schedule is loaded with these teams from the Atlantic Division, too. You have to play them more.
You have to play them more.
I don't want to see a few of those teams 3-4 times a year. You know what? Thank you anyway.
Right now, I would say you're kind of on pace with Philadelphia and with Columbus. And Montreal and Ottawa have passed you up. And New York is right behind you, like they're red, and Boston is kind of puttering in the back, but they could easily jump forward because they got a 50-goal guy on their team.
So what I'm hearing is we're not going to make the playoffs again this year.
Probably not, unless they make some big moves.
So then you're 8 or you're 9 in the Yzer plan's going to make the playoffs, maybe? You're 9?
1920, the clock started. And it's interesting because I remember yelling back and forth with Flannel Sam about this. You don't even start the debate of how well this is going until 5 years in. And that's not my quote. I'm telling you right now.
We're 7 years in, aren't we?
I had 2 NHL general managers, not named Steve Yzerman, tell me that the average fan doesn't understand it. It legitimately, there's a reason why it's called the 5-year plan, okay? So 5 years in, you start having those conversations. So if you're following along at home, 1920, 2021, 21, 22, 22, 23, 23, 24. 24, last fall, the clock started. And
it was a failure.
You have that. You can't call it anything else right now. You can't.
No, it's crazy because you can see the Tigers and the Red Wings were kind of trending the same way 2 years ago. They ended the season hot. You were hoping it carried over into the next season, to get that playoff experience. The Tigers have taken that ball and run with it. Red Wings just regressed. They were almost the exact same team this year as they were last year, because I was hearing the exact same shit that I was hearing the year before this year.
Yeah. I think that's a great point, because you think back to the tail end of the Avila era, right? I was so sick and tired of hearing these mythical names, okay? And a lot of them didn't hit. But then some of them started to hit, right? You heard about Skubal, and you're like, all right, I'm intrigued. For every Skubal, unfortunately, there was a Manning. And then Casey Mize, he was, going back and forth. But some of these guys started to hit. And that's the crazy thing about this dynamic right now. I don't care who, they have nice pieces. Unfortunately, there's nobody who's gone Skubal. Unfortunately, there's nobody who's really gone Riley Green yet.
No.
Nice seasons, good seasons, but the question is there a next level for a Lucas Raymond?
Yes.
Is there a next level for a Mo Sider? When will you see ASP? When will you see some of these other pieces? And if you continue to have good players in this division, you're going to get run.
And
I firmly believe it.
Yeah, you've got a team right now full of second and third line guys, and you don't have any truly upper echelon talent. And the reason the Red Wings are where they were this year was because their stars plateaued and their veterans were ass. So you need to, and this can, again, completely be flipped around next year. If you have guys like Marco Kasper, who I believe is going to take a step forward next year, if Lucas Raymond can put together a full season and be a star, it would be great. We've seen Lucas Raymond do now two half seasons of being a star in the NHL. If he could put it together for one full season, that will be huge. But things like that are supplemented by veterans you bring in, bringing the best out of those guys. You need to get a legitimate top 4 defensive pairing, and you need to get a legitimate top 6 winger if you want this team to be good next year in free agency. You bring in a guy like Patrick Kane, and it's awesome, and showtime, and he wins. Those playoff or those shootout snipes are awesome. But he brings down guys when he's in the top 6. Patrick Kane should not be a top 6 on a playoff team. If you want to, you have to get a guy like that. You have to get a legitimate guy that will bring Lucas Raymond up a notch, that will help Marco Kasper bring to that next level. Because if you keep bringing in guys like Tarasenko and Patrick Kane, they're not going to show any signs of development, because those guys are absolutely cooked.
Well, you know what they need? They need to get into a gym like Planet Fitness.
That is true.
Get stronger, get faster, get a tan,
Such a pro.
even. Maybe sit down in the massage chair and loosen up. And, if you're in high school, you got that summer pass. Workout free all summer long. That's such a cool thing that they do. If you're 14 through 19 years old, you can work out. So not even if you're in high school. You can be a 19-year-old not in high school. Just go get that free workout in. It's summertime. You want to look good. All summer long, June 1st through August 31st, the high school pass is open for you. So make sure you stop by at Planet Fitness.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Attention sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join him every Tuesday on Big D Energy and Thursdays on Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, where he offers top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that DMAC trusts. Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game, performing at your best. For more information, visit him at michigansportsandspine.com or give him a call at 248-426-9944.
We got some news that broke over the weekend, and everybody's been talking about it. Malik Beasley. We got to get into that story. Welcome back to Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. Thank you guys for being a part of the chat, for following along on all the social medias. I think we're pushing like 85,000 now on YouTube. Got Sean Belesian in here. We got Chase. We got Spenny, and of course, Mr. Mizzou Simeon sitting in the new massage chair from the Massage Chair House, which everybody seems to be enjoying this to. It looks a little more cushy.
Shout out. It's more intense, too.
Is it?
It's more intense than the last one.
Oh,
it digs into you.
I like the intensity of the last one, so that's good to hear.
Mr. C, by the way. That's Mr. Commodore over on the table. He loves Vandy.
Counting down the days to Diego Pavia football.
Pavia.
Malik Beasley, arrested, thrown in Guantanamo. He broke the law, ladies and gentlemen. I guess this was 2 years ago, too. And
it was in Minnesota is what they said.
23-24.
Yeah, just now catching up to him, and you cannot outrun the law. Just let that be a lesson to everybody watching right now. But Malik Beasley supposedly gambling on player props. We don't have the specifics on it.
No, it is still alleged, like he is a part of it. Nothing has been confirmed
no charges
yet. No charges have been confirmed, but he is being investigated by federal prosecutors.
The way his lawyer was speaking, though, it sounded like he's guilty. Like anytime a lawyer's like, he's due the same due process as anybody else, instead of like, no, we're against this. This never happened. Like, if you're giving me lawyer talk, you know he's a part of something.
Did you see all the videos that spontaneously just popped up on social media, too, of kind of those eyebrow-raising plays? I don't know if they're real, but it didn't look good. I can tell you that.
There was the one where he's guarding Halliburton, and he just doesn't move at all, and Halliburton goes right by him. And then there's one where he gets a free throw, and there's 5 seconds left, and it's an 8-point game, and the spread was 7.5, and he sprints down the court and dunks it before the final buzzer.
I mean, listen, gambling's a part of the culture now, whether we like it or not. It's legal. People are going to have access to it. And even if the thing I don't understand is, why don't these guys get somebody to bet for them?
They do. And I mean, I'm sure that's what he did, but you still can't do that.
I know you can't do it, but like, at least don't put your damn name on it.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm in the league, guess what? Spencer Raxter's placing all my bets for me, win or lose. And I'm not going to take the heat either way. You want to slide me some money back under the table?
Are we sure it wasn't Malik Beasley's interpreter that was making
these
bets?
Shohei Ohtani?
Yeah.
What was it? What was allegedly on the tables? 3 for 42?
It was going to be something like that.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, he fucked up.
Dude. That was the payday. You're a journeyman. That was the payday,
yes.
man. Like, come on.
Now, here's my moral dilemma with players betting on the sport that they play. I think you should be allowed to bet on yourself to succeed. Like,
yeah, if you're hitting your overs, I don't care.
Like, if I'm betting on myself to win the Super Bowl, if I'm betting on myself to go 3 for 3 from the plate, if I'm betting on myself and it does not hurt my team in any capacity, I think that should be allowed. Like what Pete Rose did, betting on his squad to win, should have been allowed. The only time I think it should be illegal is when you're working against your teammate, like the the Black Sox back in the day. When you bet to lose and throw a game, that's one thing. But if I'm betting on myself and I'm Jared Goff and I know I'm going to throw for 500 yards this game and 3 touchdowns, I should be able to put my fucking money where my mouth is and say I'm throwing for 500 in this game. I should be able to.
No, Stick, this reminds me of the Donahue situation. Remember the official? Okay, there's a big difference in my mind, okay? My definition for fixed and manipulated are 2 different definitions, okay? Fixed to me means I'm going to lose that game.
Right.
I am going to lose that game. Manipulated to me is, okay, this over-under, I need to score a bucket now. So as you said, Spinny, I'm gonna sprint down the court and I'm gonna jam this home so all my guys can hit the over and I can collect a percentage of the winnings. That's manipulated to me. Fixed is something completely different.
Well, yeah, you can't fix success, right? If you knew every shot you took was gonna go in, everybody in the NBA would be shooting 100%. Like, so you can't fix success. You can fix failure. I can miss a shot on purpose 100 times out of 100. I can't make a shot 100 times out of 100. So, yeah, if you're betting positively for yourself and your team, you should be able to get away with it. But we don't know what Malik Beasley was betting on.
We don't know.
I mean, if we were judging by this playoff series, he was definitely taking the under on his threes against the Knicks. That guy sucked in the playoffs.
He did. He had a rough series for sure. But, again, this was not with his time at the Pistons that we know of. Allegedly, and it was player props is what it said, so that's harder to, like, I don't know. He fucked up. If it comes out that this happened, it's fucked up, and he fucked up his own career. I saw someone tweet, they were like, I think Neil shared it in the Woodward Sports chat. It's like, oh man, I can't believe I won't be able to watch Malik Beasley play for the Pistons on FanDuel Sports Network or in my Bet River seats courtside at the game. Like, they're ESPN and all they're in bed with these sports books. It's like, well, you think this shit wasn't gonna happen?
Well, here's the bigger deal, because we don't know what it is. We don't know if there's be suspensions. We don't know any of that.
If
you're the Pistons, are you re-signing Malik Beasley now? Because
no.
By all reasoning, they had interest on bringing him back.
Yeah.
Now, does that just squash it down to 0?
0. Absolutely
0%.
Because if this happens, he's at least being suspended for an entire season.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
Yep. It's got to be. And again, this isn't like
he might get a lifetime ban.
This isn't
Throw
like
it in the chat.
This isn't like Bruce Willis in Pulp Fiction. I'm going to take a dive. This is, again, manipulation stuff, okay? But it can't happen. It can't happen. Them's the rules right now. Whether you like it or not is inconsequential. I don't think anybody's suggesting that he took a dive. I don't think anybody's suggesting that he, fixed the game, so to speak. It was manipulation, and if this is true, no way. I think, Spenny, to your point, I think just the allegations are enough for the Pistons to say, that's off the table.
Yep.
That's it.
Dad with Tourette's in the chat. He's looking at prison time, guys.
Yeah.
Is he prison time?
Yeah, like
federal prison.
It's a federal prosecutor that is doing this. It's
Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart went to federal prison.
Are you doing the Office Space, like white collar prison or federal pound me in the
right? Yeah, pound me in the ass. Right.
Like Club Fed.
Yeah. It's like he could realistically be looking at a lifetime ban from the NBA if this happens. So
a lifetime ban.
Wasn't that 3 years 42? Wasn't that the number that was thrown out there?
3 years 42.
Somebody put out
for his contract.
Yeah, he was going to get like $14 million a year.
Somebody put out a tweet. It was this was tweeted on January 30th. First, it was Jonte,
the
guy who got lifetime ban because he was betting on his G League scores. Then it was Terry Rozier, another guy who was caught betting.
Michigan man, right?
Next, you'll hear about B. And somebody said, you'll see soon. And so apparently, whoever that was, they knew,
I saw that
they
tweet.
knew Malik Beasley was coming down the pipe for this.
Dude.
What an idiot.
What a shame.
Like, what an idiot.
What a shame.
It's got to be more than just a couple bucks on some players.
Yeah, it's
like if you're looking at prison time and like J-Mo bet on some games against the NFL rules, they gave him a suspension.
But
then
he was betting
redacted
on
some of the
college
games.
basketball. He wasn't betting on the NFL. He bet on college basketball in a parking lot of a hotel.
I understand it, but he was like, it's still betting on.
But if he would have bet on the NFL, he would have been a lot more serious.
You think a lifetime ban?
It would have been up there for sure.
I can't wait for more facts to come out about this because we're all gonna. I mean, this is gonna be. We're all gonna find out.
Yeah, it's gonna happen soon.
We're all gonna see everything that he did. But man, could you imagine throwing away $42 million for like even if he won every bet? Do you think it was adding up to $42 million?
No way. No way. You know, and you have to wonder at the time if he sat back and said, man, this is all I'm going to be in my career is I'm going to be a journeyman. I'm never going to get that big contract.
Too. He was not going to get that before this last year.
I don't know. Whatever his motivation
But even if you're not, right, what's a vet minimum? $4 million, $6 million?
Yeah,
There's no, like, what's he betting to win $6 million?
You know, here's the funny thing. Tell me that it wouldn't cross your mind. Like, honestly, be honest. Some dude... Spenny approaches me and goes, dude, I'm not asking you to take a fall or anything. Nope. Take a dive. Just late in the game, can you hold on to the ball an extra second? Just hold on to the ball for an extra second. Maybe, that pass intended for Stick, can you panic and throw it 3 feet to the left of him and maybe create a turnover and everything? Dude, I don't know. I'm not saying it's right. He has to pay the price, but for so many of these dudes, I'll give you a cool mill to throw a pass errantly 3 feet the other way. Okay. You're $1 million. Yeah. Okay. Right? Again, I'm not saying he's a victim. I'm not saying it's wrong.
He's an idiot.
That's the flip side. He's very wrong, and he's gonna pay a hefty price. But my goodness gracious, it's you wonder how much of this happens. You really do. You wonder how much of some of the great, especially college scams in the fixings and all that stuff. Man, are you kidding me? You're a 19-year-old kid. I got Mr. C over there, and I walk up to him, a kid. I'll give you $100,000. $100,000 if you miss those free throws at the end of the game. They're going to send you to the line. You are a 92% shooter.
Have you ever seen Blue Chips?
What you need to do is you need to miss those free throws. I'll give you $100,000 after the game. Hookers and blow 2 hours later. Are you kidding? He's giving me $100,000 hookers and blow for everybody.
Yeah, it's crazy, and the amount of money that gets thrown around in the NBA, it's like, why would you even gamble that? I mean, lack of better word, why would you even gamble with that? Like $42 million. You were set to cash in. You just were second in the NBA in three-pointers made, and you're losing that because you wanted to throw money on your prop bets?
Ugh.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, like, what if it comes out and it's like he had Halliburton at plus 18 that game and he let him blow by him to get over that, like, if it gets that granular and that dirty to where they can actually prove this malfeasance from him, it's going to be.
That's
but
what it
here's
is.
the deal: what are the losses and damages from the NBA? What are the losses and damages from FanDuel and all the betting agencies too? Because if they can prove that he was manipulating lines, the casinos have every right to sue him, right?
Yeah.
The NBA, you're ruining the integrity of the game. They have every right to sue him. Now, obviously, after a while, you're uncollectible. It's not like he's going to be able to get $100 million out of him. But all those entities could likely sue him because of what he's doing. Like, that's where it gets, like, heavy, right? It's one thing to be suspended for fucking up at your job. It's another thing for fucking with Vegas's money, screwing with the NBA's reputation.
Yep.
And now, next thing you know, it's turned into a whole class action thing.
Well, Malik Beasley might need a good lawyer, Stick, and luckily he could hit up our guy Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson would be the guy I would call because he's a fighter. He's not gonna let Malik Beasley go down with the ship.
No.
You know what he's gonna do? He's gonna fight for him, because that's what Ven does. VenFights.com. Make sure you go there if you're having any issues. Look at that man right there. That is determination. He's looking off in the distance. You know what he's looking at? Your victory. He sees it. He feels it. Ven Johnson put it on his vision board, and he's going to get it for you. The fighter, Ven Johnson.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app online or in club and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Tired of losing out on the car of your dreams? Bad credit? No credit? At the Feldman Chevrolet Freedom Sale, we say yes. Over 5,000 new Chevys to choose from, all priced to move with our best deals of the year. Get a 2025 Silverado for just $149 a month, or this 2026 Equinox for only $209 a month. When other dealers say no, Feldman Chevrolet says yes. Don't miss the Freedom Sale, going on now at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Caesars Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Malik Beasley. You go right now, Malik 1,000, and you'll get $1,000 back. No, it's Woodward 1,000. You'll get $1,000 as a bonus bet if your bet loses. I'll tell you a bet guaranteed to win. Malik Beasley under 3-pointers this season in the NBA. You can place it now, Caesars Sportsbook, and just download the app or go to CaesarsSportsbook.com.
Listen, if you want to be like your favorite NBA stars, you can just go to Caesars Sportsbook.
Gamble on yourself. I wish, like, everyday people.
Human props.
Right.
That'd be cool.
Like, how many
like my
ounces of
poops
coffee
per day
I would drink today.
Yeah.
How many minutes late you would be getting into the studio. Like, everyday props.
Oh.
We should set that. How many graphics Ryan Lentz will produce. Yeah. I don't want a punch clock.
Nah.
No. Your mic's muted, Chase.
There we go.
Yep.
There's no punch clock.
What would be a prop bet around here at Woodward Sports?
D-Mac joint smoked.
Joint smoked.
Joint smoked by Darren McCarty.
Over under. And that would honestly dictate D-Mac days would definitely change the projection of that.
Pieces of Buddies eaten. Buddies pizzas ordered.
Pizzas consumed.
Pizzas consumed,
during a watch party.
That'd be a good one.
See, we could manipulate. How many times do you say look at it? Like when you put the picture up. We could manipulate.
How many times Neil says cut the shit on a day?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, let's cut the shit.
Yeah.
How many Diego Pavia references made per show?
There you go.
How many flannel crash outs on the morning show?
Oh, flannel crash outs. 0.5 every day, I think, would be the over-under.
That'd be a safe bet.
There's always a potential.
It's always minus odds.
Yeah, on the
minus
over.
185 at least.
Which, by the way, flannel confused the shit out of me earlier today.
What did he say?
So you know how Patrick Mahomes is his end-all, be-all, Mr. Everything. I'm the greatest thing that ever put on a uniform. I can never do anything wrong, except I can't beat Jared Goff in a game. Besides all that, right? Besides all that, Ben Roethlisberger was talking about how he thinks Aaron Rodgers is more talented than Patrick Mahomes. And I would have thought that would have sent Flannel Sam running into traffic here on Woodward.
Flannel's also a big Aaron Rodgers guy.
He agreed.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, he's just as talented. I was shocked. If someone came at my king, I wouldn't allow that.
Do you know what part of the problem
Well,
is?
I mean, if it's true, it's
Number
true.
one, we hate Aaron Rodgers in this town. Rightfully so. He cursed us. But we're so far removed from prime Aaron Rodgers. I think we remember how good Aaron Rodgers was.
Yeah.
He really was.
I don't know. If we judge it by playoffs, he's had one good playoff run, and every single one outside of that, he's failed and flamed out and cost his team.
Listen, I can't.
So if that's how we're judging people, yeah, he got it. Without that Super Bowl, what the fuck would Aaron Rodgers do?
Some of his regular seasons were unbelievable, but as you know,
who cares?
As you know,
Jared Goff just had an incredible regular season, and nobody around here gives him credit.
So many guys are. I will say to the day I die, Dan Marino's one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen. Period. End of story. And he never won a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that went once, and that was it. Thanks for playing very early in his career. Right or wrong, you are judged by exactly what you just said, Stick. And the fact that Aaron Rodgers only has one, but I can separate the two and say Aaron Rodgers had some unbelievably sick seasons even after the Super Bowl, but the conversation inevitably will come back to what you just said.
Right, but who cares? Great.
You got it.
For 10,000 yards in a season. Doesn't matter if you're a first-round exit. If you lose to Jaden Daniels, guess what? Nobody cares that you went 15-2 and were an MVP candidate.
Can't argue with that.
100%.
Nope.
Let's be consistent, folks.
Can't argue with that.
Especially with Aaron Rodgers. But you want to talk about consistent? Tarik Skubal. Lasers. Freaking lasers. This guy, we had must-see JV back in the day. I was trying to think of something fun and, that we could think of for Tarik Skubal. Like, how do we have fun wordplay with, like, must-see Tarik?
Scooby, must-see Scooby.
Must-see Scooby.
Scooby snacks.
Nothing really flows like must-see JV, but I'll throw that up there again, Spenny, so I can read it for everybody who can't read. Skubal is an elite company. He joins Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander as the only Tigers to win 10 consecutive decisions in a season over the past 40 years. And what this guy is doing, the way he pitches, like, I love Verlander. I still think Verlander has a couple notches over him just because of the individual accomplishments that he has. I think Skubal has every opportunity to reach those things, but he hasn't done it to this point yet. But the way Skubal pitches and the way he's just a bulldog on that mound is so fun to watch. And the fact that we've had all three of those guys is pretty amazing. But it's got to result in two things. One, a contract extension, and two, a World Series ring. If neither of those, even if 50% of those things happen, it's not good enough.
And you know what it comes, I cannot believe I'm saying this right now. Lord forgive me, but I know the Woodward staff had a chance to catch up with Rob Parker yesterday. And Rob Parker,
Mr. Racebait.
Well, he stopped saying serious things many, many years ago. We know that. But you know what he said yesterday where he's right on? As magical a season this guy is having right now, there's nobody in town that can sit back and say he's a slam dunk to win back-to-back Cy Youngs. That's the crazy reality of what's going on in baseball right now in the American League, okay? Hunter Brown is unbelievable. Max in New York is unbelievable. Now, I think it's Skubal, Hunter Brown, then Max, okay? But I could see the argument if somebody said, hey, Hunter Brown's having a better year than Skubal, I can see the argument. And that's the crazy dynamic of it. So somebody said, I think the question was, I watched it last night. I got to be honest with you, I was drunk. But I think the question was, somebody asked Rob, is he like the Cy Young? And like, we can act all Detroit and go, yeah, man, no doubt about it. He's all, yeah, Detroit all the way. Detroit versus everybody. We can play that old bit if you want, okay? But if you are being sincere, you have to say, holy shit, a Detroit guy in Hunter Brown is having an unbelievable year in Houston right now. And I think a little bit below it is Max in New York. And that's the crazy thing about it. In my mind, is Skubal the best pitcher in baseball? Absolutely is.
Yeah.
But I get the argument.
And like Hunter Brown has a better ERA than Skubal on the year, but Skubal now leads, or he's tied for the lead in wins. He has a better WAR. He's got a better strikeout per nine. He has more strikeouts, and he's got a better whip. So I'm saying Skubal's having a better year. Hunter Brown is having a fantastic year as well. Max Fried, like you said, he's forgotten. He's out of the race. Like, it's Hunter Brown and Skubal, and I think Skubal is a length ahead, a body length ahead of Hunter Brown right now, based on what he's doing when it comes to his strikeout to walk numbers. Like, his strikeout to walk ratio is approaching like legendary, like greatest of all time type stuff, where before yesterday he had a we'll include yesterday's stats as well. In his last 13 games, he has 113 strikeouts and 10 walks. Like, the guy is just an absolute monster. Like Stick said, he's an absolute bulldog on the hill, and what he's doing is, like, the stretches of baseball that he's putting together this season, you look at the stats, you look at the things, and it's like nobody has ever done this before in the history of Major League Baseball. So, yeah, Hunter Brown's got a better ERA, but Skubal is having a much better year and a much better season.
I think the K through 9s are very close. The WHIP is very close.
Yeah.
And personally, I've always felt WHIP is undervalued. If you're putting guys on base, you're asking for trouble. That's why I worry a little bit about Casey Mize, because he's putting a lot of guys on base. But with that being said, yeah, if I had a vote right now, no doubt about it, I'd take Skubal. But, I cannot believe I'm saying this. I can understand if somebody wanted to make the argument, and they could turn around and say, hey, look, his ERA's better.
Yeah,
you know, some of those numbers are better. So I understand that argument. I just wouldn't do it. I'd vote for Skubal.
Yeah, Gromit in the chat. If you need one guy to win Game 7, you take Skubal over Brown.
1,000%.
And
I mean, that's
1,000%
factor, right?
1,000%.
And as much as I feel like things like this shouldn't play a factor into the eventual season-long goals, especially in a season like the MLB, where it's, you know, you get 30-plus starts in a year, games like last night do a lot for voters, and Sean knows that. Voters for different awards like this, voters for different season awards, a lot of them don't tap in as much as they should. But when you see a 13 strikeout, 1-hit performance on Sunday Night Baseball, you're like, okay, that gives you up a notch. And that remains in the minds of different voters.
Sean, you were obviously a big fan of the Tigers back when Verlander was pitching. Spenny, I mean, you were a Tigers fan. You're a little bit younger, though. Are you starting to feel the same energy, though? Like when Verlander used to go to the mound, the whole city would pause, listen to the radio, watch the game. It was must-see JV. Like, that wasn't just some saying. It was the truth, because every time he was going out there, he had an opportunity to throw a no-hitter. I'm starting to feel that way with Skubal. Like, last night, my whole timeline is just Sunday Night Baseball, Skubal. The nation's watching. And people were getting excited for it in a way I haven't seen them get excited for Tigers baseball in many years.
There's more of a wow factor with Skubal, I think, because of the Ks. I mean that. I think there's more of a wow factor with Skubal. Verlander, I mean, again, how can you deny a guy that threw a no-hitter in 2007, threw another one in 2011, and, you know, had the magical seasons that he had? It's funny because my kid and I were talking about this last night. You know, we used to have season tickets. The Anibal Sanchez game, it's the record for most strikeouts by a Tiger pitcher. He had 17 in only 8 innings in 2013. As you're watching that game yesterday, it was like, he's going to make a run at this.
Yeah.
Like, you knew early on, and I even tweeted out, I said, for the record, in case you're not aware of this, the record for a Tiger pitcher is 17 strikeouts set by Anibal Sanchez in 2013. That's on notice right now. Now, obviously, the pace slowed down, and they took him out. We don't know what would have happened if he would have been allowed to pitch, but yes. That's the long-winded yes. And I think, again, because of the Ks, it's like people say, chicks dig the long ball. The Ks just speak louder. They speak louder.
I don't know if it's just the Ks, because, like, Verlander was striking out 10 and 12 in performances, too. He had 3 seasons in Detroit where he had over 250 strikeouts. I think it's just, and I know Flannel's going to hate this, the aura of Tarik Skubal when he's on the size of it. Like, Verlander was always a horse.
It's like Bonderman out there throwing like Verlander.
Yeah,
like,
it's
he
a
just
dude.
Looks like a thug.
It's a dude. He's got insane quads. He is barking at people on the mound. He's screaming after strikeouts.
That's one thing.
He's got
Verlander
the hat to the side
do.
a little bit that gives him some swag. Like, that's what it is.
He looks like he could be from the east side or downriver.
Yeah, and Verlander is my favorite Tiger of all time, and he was must-see JV, and he had just as much aura, but it's different. Verlander's more of, or Skubal's more of an attack dog than Verlander, because he's got the anger and the aggression coming off the mound. You never really saw Verlander getting worked up like that after strikeouts.
You see him get pumped up, but it wasn't "I want to kick your fucking ass" pumped up. It was "I'm excited for myself," not "Come here, come get some of this."
It's kind of funny because three of the top 25 most strikeouts in a game by a Detroit Tiger pitcher go to Skubal, and Verlander has a couple. And it was, for me, it was 11 and 12 was magical. And then nobody wants to admit this. Do you know what we had to deal with in 2013? Justin Verlander has a dead arm. Yeah. That was real. I listened to that every fucking day. It was insane. And then if you remember, when he came back late in the year, he was as good, if not better, down the stretch. And his playoff in 2013 was insane. Yeah. And that's why people like me, I don't even like saying the words 2013, because part of me dies, because that was the year. That was the year for the Tigers. And, you know, Stick, for guys like you and I, I'll speak for me. I feel sorry for the generation that you have to hear about 1984 constantly. I feel sorry for you guys.
Yeah, it sucks.
I do. I want you to get another series, because I remember what 84 was like. And for me, it was, I heard about 68 all the time. I knew everything about a team. I wasn't born. Mm-hmm. I knew every gosh damn thing about that team. Yep. So because of that, you know what? For like my kid, who absolutely adores the Tigers, heck, he works for the franchise. For the younger guys that you've heard about 84, yeah, gosh damn it, get your own 84.
I was -12 the last time the Tigers won a World Series.
I was 3.
And shout out to Byrne in the Woodward Sports Chat with the Super Chat. He says, putting men on base is a high IQ play. How else can you get double or triple play? If you just hit the batter, it's even more high IQ. It's fair.
To counter the aura argument between Verlander and Skubal, you got to throw the Kate Upton factor in there.
Definitely
you don't
helps.
pull a Kate Upton if you don't have aura.
No, like Verlander's the man. It's a different auras. Like I said, Skubal's more of the attack dog. And what I like to see is Skubal doing the same cut. Like, remember when Verlander was at the peak of his powers, when he was Cy Young MVP, when he was the guy. He was doing the, okay, now in the 9th inning when I have 115 pitches thrown, now I'm going to crank it up to 100 miles an hour and start blowing it by people. And we see Skubal doing the same thing. His last pitch, his final strikeout, his 13th of the night, was a 100-mile-per-hour fastball on the inside black. Like, the guy is just insane. And I love when Skubal gets 1 or 2 runs and he's in that mode. I love about Skubal when he is feeling himself like he was last night. He is just throwing 99, 98 center cut fastballs over the middle of the plate saying, fucking hit it, pussy. And they're not going to. He literally is just chucking strikes and saying, hit it, pussy. And they're not. And then he drops off the nastiest fucking changeup you've ever seen in your life.
I love this comment from Danny G in the chat. This fan base is so behind Skubal at this point. If they let him go, we might have riots in the city. Yeah. It's getting to that point where it's our guy. And if you let this guy walk and the Tigers take a step back, you have just alienated everything, because now you're not serious.
Yeah. There's a commonality between the two. I don't like the conversation. I really don't, because I don't think there's a correct answer. But I think the commonality is exactly what you just said, Spenny. These two guys just had an aura about them and a look on the mound when they were in control. They both had that look that you're not going to get me.
No.
Like, I own you. This is my day, and I'm going to choose how you perish. Yeah, you have no choice in the matter.
Verlander was more of a tactician, I feel, like with that big looping curveball and stuff like that. And Skubal's just like, here it is, hit it, you can't.
Yeah,
like that's
it's
either way.
He just overpowers people. Verlander had all the pitches. He had the fastball, the changeup, the slider, the curveball. Like, he had all of it. Skubal's is just, I'm overpowering you with how good my stuff is.
And just like we have all the social medias, right?
That's true. You can follow us on all social media platforms at Woodward Sports, whether it is Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, or Twitch. You know Woodward Sports is putting out great content everywhere. It is at Woodward Sports on all social medias.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
If you're watching Woodward Sports right now and you're not wearing any clothes, first of all, that's weird. Second of all, just go buy some. We got them for you. Go to shop.woodwardsports.com right now. Pick up all your Tigers merch, all your Red Wings, Lions, Pistons, and of course, we got Woodward Sports exclusive stuff for you. New Detroit designs drop weekly right now at woodwardsports.com.
And shout out to Byrne again with the super chat. He says, I don't remember JV being on national TV. Skubal fight an umpire because of a bad call. Last year, he thought Skub would end Javi over an error. And like, I was at the game when Verlander and Weaver were having their back and forth, and Guillen hit the home run. Like, I was in Comerica for that game.
Yeah.
That was. I've been to a couple Skubal starts. I wish I could have gone last night, but that game was it was like Cy Young on the line. These are the two guys going at it, and they were just absolutely dealing. That was so awesome.
I think there was a Monday night game, if I remember correctly. I can, if you want to fact check me. I think Verlander was on in a Monday night one of those years and dominated the Yankees.
Yeah.
And that was huge. And there was an electricity. And it's still so funny. And Stick, you brought this up earlier, and I don't think that this can be. There's just something when you're the national game, when you're the show, and all eyes are on Comerica Park. There's just something different. There's a different vibe around, man. There's no other way to say it.
And that's what it is with Skubal now. Every start, like you said, it's the must-see JV stuff. The ballpark was sold out last night.
And that's why I'll never understand Major League Baseball owners who don't just max out and go for a top 5 payroll. Like, you saw it when the Tigers were winning back in the day. They put over 2 million people inside Comerica Park. You're gonna get your return on investment.
Yeah.
Like, if you give Skubal $40 or $400 million, you're going to see that back in merch sales, in beer sales, in hot dog sales, in seat sales, in people wanting to buy advertisement for your game. Like, I'll never understand Major League Baseball and owners not being all in. Like, that's what made Mike Ilitch so good at the end. He knew it was at the end. He knew he had to push his chips into the table. He knew that the NHL had now shifted to a salary cap league, so I can't drop $200 million over here. I got to at least take $50 million over here and put it into my baseball team now. And that's when you saw the resurgence of the Tigers, in my opinion. When he was like, okay, it's capped over here. We got money galore for baseball now. If you spend the money, you will make it back in baseball.
He would overrule his general manager. Like Mike Ilitch, I mean, the stories are out there. You know, where Dave Dombrowski is like, yeah, I don't know. No, listen. Yeah, you need to pay Victor Martinez, okay? And, you know, waking up one morning and go, you know, what am I going to have for breakfast this morning? Oh, I know. I'll have some Prince Fielder this morning. You know, I mean, that was it. Really, that's what happened. And Stick, you hit the nail right on top of the head. One of my fondest memories of the 06 season, as strange as it sounds, was like sitting in that park in late June, and all of a sudden there were a shitload of people around me.
Yeah.
Like that, I'll never. And it wasn't a weekend. It was like some midday game against the Astros, and there's a shitload of people around you, and you're going, I think it's back. I think it's back. And it's amazing what happens when you win, isn't it?
They go from 119 losses 2 years later to being in the playoffs, essentially.
3 years.
Right?
Yep,
3 years later.
Yep.
And I remember going to those 119 loss games where even the vendors were like ripping on the team. The Tigers would score. They'd be like, hey, we scored a run. Please buy a hot dog. And it'd just be me smoking a blunt inside Comerica Park because nobody else was in my section, to, like you said, all of a sudden you blink of an eye, you turn around, it's 40,000 people for a Tuesday 1 o'clock game.
Yep. We used to literally sit there, little kids and everything, taking my young son at the time. Hey, look, there's 5 people in section 330. Oh my gosh, there's 3 people in section 340. That was real. That was like a daily occurrence.
You could have your own section.
It was crazy.
And I think the Piston fans are starting to understand that now with LCA.
Oh, yeah.
Like LCA 2 years ago, crickets when you went in
The
there.
only
now,
one
tough.
I'm so happy that they got back to that.
And that's always been my argument why this is such a football town. The only one almost 100% impervious to that is the Detroit Lions.
Yes.
Like, there was a little time in the late 80s before they drafted this guy by the name of Barry Sanders where people stopped going to the Silverdome. And if you remember, towards the end of some of those Millen years, like 2007, 2008, people stopped going in mass to Ford Field. Other than that, people go support the Lions. That's why anybody who tells me that this isn't a football town, you're lying through your teeth.
You're lying.
You're
lying.
so dumb if you think that, because not only is it the Lions, right? Like, you got to think Ann Arbor's 30 minutes away, and they put 100,000 people in that stadium every Saturday when they're playing. So, I mean, there's weekends where almost 200,000 local people are attending a football game at a college or professional level. Yeah, this is a football town.
And the only time that 110,000 in Michigan failed was at the end of a horrible era.
Buy a ticket or buy a Coke,
get a ticket. Yeah, I mean, 2014 is when people kindly said, okay, this is bad. Our athletic director is bad. Our coach is bad. And that was the only time in my lifetime where people didn't go 110,000 in mass to Michigan Stadium. So you're absolutely right, Stick. It's not that long ago that you were really wondering aloud, are people going to go out there and support Miguel Cabrera down the stretch? Those were conversations that we did. And they did. That weekend ended up being nuts. It really did that last weekend.
No, and that's honestly what it should be. You know, Miguel Cabrera, to me, has earned a lifetime pass. Even if he was still playing, hitting .07, I'd be like, hey, that's Miguel Cabrera. He brought a triple crown to Detroit. That's arguably the best right-handed hitter to ever play baseball, and he was lucky enough. We were lucky enough to have him in the Old English D for the majority of his career. So Miguel Cabrera, in my book, could never, ever, ever do no wrong, even if he was collecting $50 million to this day.
I agree.
But let's talk about that spending, right? Skubal. We're to the point now you have to pay him. And even if you have to pay him, you may have to overpay him because of what he's starting to mean not only to this franchise, but to this entire city. Are you going $500 million if you have to, Sean?
I'm really, really, really intrigued to see where this goes because you guys know as well as I do, Boris is looking at everything around him right now, okay? And what is the big number right now? I think you have to start at 40 per.
Yeah, $400 million is the starter number.
I think 8 years, $400 million is the number that you have to start at.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I was thinking 10 years, $400 million.
Oh, I think you could get 50. I do. Right now, Boris knows that too. I really honestly believe 8 years at $400 million could be very, very legitimate.
And I hate to do the fear-mongering part of it, but if the Dodgers, the Mets, or the Yankees really want Skubal, there's not much the Tigers can do about it. Because they'll go up and over. And they will, and that's what they do.
You can do something about it. Put your nuts on the table.
We'll see. We'll see if they are willing to give out that contract. That would be awesome. It would prove me wrong, and I would say thank you, Mr. Ilitch, for giving out that kind of money.
I
don't think they're going to go over 42 a year, 43 a year. I don't think they'll go over that.
Can I tell you though, if I'm Scott Boras, try to think like Scott Boras thinks, okay? Jacob deGrom is at $40 million, right?
Yep.
Wheeler's at $42 million.
Oh yeah.
I walk into that room and just go like that.
He's going to be
$500 million.
He's going to be the highest paid baseball player of all time.
Seriously, F you. Oh, Zach Wheeler's making $42 million. That's adorable. Let's start at 50.
Yeah, he's going to be the highest paid pitcher in the league no matter what. I don't think Chris Ilitch will give him 50. I know that the Dodgers, Yankees, or Mets will give him 50. And that's what it is for me. Like, if they really want him, if the ownership group from the Dodgers says, no matter what, we're getting Tarik Skubal, the Tigers don't have a chance because they will pay him more. And Scott Boras, would you take a 10-year, $450 million deal from the Tigers if the Dodgers are offering you 10 years, $500?
Do you know what I could say? Let me, and I'm thinking out loud. I don't know if this is the answer, okay? If they said, okay, you're right. You're better than Zach Wheeler. You're right. You're better than DeGrom. $45 million. We'll give you 8 years at $45 million. 360. 8 for 360. Would that get it done?
No.
I don't think so either.
Bottom line is, the longer they're waiting, the more expensive it's getting.
And it's gonna go until free agency. That's what's gonna happen.
Then
That's what they
gonna
do.
keep getting bigger. Like, it may wind up at 60.
I think the biggest hope for the Tigers, to keep Tarik Skubal is that lockout actually being a thing, and Scott Boras being like, all right, we got to get this deal done before a lockout hits and you possibly miss an entire year of service.
God, why don't they just wrap this up? Like,
well, I mean, if you're Skubal, why would you sign now if you can go into open market and you're having these teams that are going to maybe be willing
that's
to shell
why
out
it's on the
550,
ownership.
600?
It's on the ownership to take advantage of this and do a Brad Holmes, sign them once they become a discount to market.
You
like,
can
if you
put
can
the
lock in
paper
your
on the
guys
table.
early, you go do it.
You can't make Skubal sign. That's what I'm saying. Like, why?
I know
if
you can't,
he's in
but
that power
they're not even having the conversations right now.
That's because he has all the leverage.
I'm convinced he's going to walk away and we're going to
He
get
doesn't
nothing.
have all the leverage.
He can shoot. Like, what do you mean?
If I walked in with a bag of $500 million, you're telling me he has the leverage?
I mean, he could choose not to sign it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he could choose not to sign it, but I'm forcing the conversation. That's what I'm saying. The Tigers need to start forcing this conversation. Otherwise, it's going to be a $600 million contract.
I'm convinced, Stick, that he is going to walk away a year and 3 months from now and we get nothing in return. I'm convinced.
That can't happen.
All right, so time out. Let me call a timeout. What if the Tigers are in the position that they're in right now, next year, and they don't have the World Series yet?
They can't trade him.
Do you really want to trade him at the deadline?
No, you can't.
I don't want to, but I would
have to
rather
hold on to
trade him than get nothing for him.
I think you're at that point in time, you're throwing away any chance you have of a World Series.
Yes.
You're throwing it away. You're just going, we don't care about the World Series.
Well, if you're not going to re-sign him.
That's why.
So you're saying, yeah.
You know, now do you get it?
I understand what you're saying, but this is the long
I have a
game,
feeling
too.
that's how it's going to end. I hope I'm wrong. I really, I hope I'm wrong. I have a feeling that they're basically going to sit back and say, we understand, we're still hoping to sign him at the end of the year, but we cannot let him go when we're in first place and we have a chance to win this franchise first World Series in 42 years. We cannot let the best pitcher in baseball walk away. We can't.
It's tough, man. And when you're, the best in the league, when you're doing that, and you're going to have to make hard contract negotiations because these are the upper echelon of players. So the contract talks are tough when you're the number one, but where you can get an easy contract with the number one is Feldman Chevrolet, because they are Michigan's number one Chevy dealer, and you don't got to worry about getting overpaid or overpaying for a car because they're looking to get you in the best car for cheap. They've got 5 different locations in New Hudson, Highland, Livonia. They're all over the place. It's Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's number one Chevy dealer. Just tap in, scan that QR code on the screen, and go check out their massive inventory. It's Feldman Chevrolet.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won. David Tully, everybody. David Tully. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. Stop in, sit down, relax, get an award-winning haircut from one of our lovely, talented stylists. You can get a hot leather neck shave, scalp massage, hot towel treatment, all that wrapped into one in the King's treatment. Like I said, open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Welcome back to Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Stick, filling in for Neil Rule today. That is Sean in for D-Mac. Of course, we got Chase in here. We got Simeon in here. And Mr. Spencer Raxter. We were talking about paying Tarik Skubal, which is going to be a topic of conversation for at least the next 15 months. I just don't know how the Tigers aren't being insanely aggressive with this, especially after you see him go out there time and time again. And like I said, now it's just a ticking clock. Every time he goes out there, you're almost adding an extra $2 million a year. $1 million a year. That's the way I'm looking at it. Every time he has a shutdown, lights out performance, not only are you letting, it's not like baseball doesn't know who he is, but not only are you not letting him showcase that to 31 other general managers and owners, you just gotta go get it locked up. Go get it.
And you nailed it. I mean, I think a lot of times people don't understand an agent's job is made easy when you have a client like that.
When you have a showcase, yeah.
I mean, it's like, I don't have to, see, here, I remember, Stick, you'll remember this, okay? I remember when Matthew Stafford's contract came up, okay? And there is not a human being on earth that would have called Matthew Stafford the best quarterback in the league. Even the most diehard Lion fan, there's no way.
I don't know, the way some of these guys talk about
There's no way anybody would have said, but here's the quarterback market was set by Derek Carr.
Yep.
Okay? So if I'm Stafford's agent, I'm walking in. Look at it, by the way. I'm walking in, and I'm going, isn't that adorable? Look how much Carr just got. Isn't that adorable? Now what are you going to do for my client? And like the thing that people misunderstood is, okay, when Aaron Rodgers' contract came up, he was going to reset the mark, and then the mark was going to get reset again. Baseball's different because right now, Tarik Skubal, the best pitcher in baseball, has a chance to set that market. Do you think Scott Boras is going to let that go?
No.
Do you think the Players Association is going to let that go?
No.
The Players Association is screaming at Skubal right now. I don't care how happy you are in Detroit. If you sign anything that even 1/10 resembles a hometown discount, fuck you forever. Right? That's where we're at right now. Right? And no, it's not going to happen. We can hope and pray and dream. Best case scenario is he sets the new market, but it's not at $50 million. And I don't think Scott Boras would allow that to happen.
Never happening. Yeah, it's 50,
I don't think Boras would allow that to happen.
Spenny put this question in the prep. Who's more likely to get paid? We just had an ongoing conversation about Skubal. Then let's switch sports. Jamison Williams. They accepted his fifth-year option. Traditionally, after this year is when they kind of renegotiate and perhaps sign him. Do you think who's getting signed first?
J-Mo.
J-Mo or Skubal?
J-Mo.
Why?
I think you can be more creative in football. You can be infinitely more creative in football. And the second part of this that nobody likes to admit, we can talk about Christopher Ilitch wanting to spend big money, but until he does, it remains a myth. And I can hear people saying, but Bregman, did you see the contract? Okay, until he spends said money, that is going to remain until he does it. Right, wrong, or indifferent, that's just the way it is. Until he goes out and says, this is what I'm doing, I'm spending this money, I'm showing everybody that, yes, I am all in, I am invested into the Detroit Tigers. Until it happens, I think every human being rightfully reserves the right to question how all in he is. I hate to say it, but that's the truth.
Spenny, what you thinking?
Yeah, I think it's J-Mo too. You look at, obviously, Tarik Skubal is more important to the Tigers than Jameson Williams is to the Lions, and that's no shot against J-Mo. That's just what Tarik Skubal is. But we've seen now Sheila Ford-Hamp give out the contract to Kirby Joseph that is like a Howie Roseman contract, where it's backloaded and you kick the can down the road, and it's not something you're going to have to worry about until those void years come into play. Those are the type of contracts that owners and GMs give out in the NFL when they want to keep everybody together and they have insane rosters. They've already talked about how important Jameson Williams is to this team, how essential he is for this offense, how much they all love him. And Sheila Ford-Hamp has already shown that she's willing to put $200 million in escrow to give a guy a contract. She's giving out the money. She's going to continue to do that. They're going to re-sign J-Mo to a similar contract like the one Kirby got, where you kick the can down the road, and we've seen it already with them. We haven't seen it with Chris.
There's creativity in the NFL that doesn't exist in MLB. Yeah. I mean, really, I hate to repeat myself, but there is. And I think, and an old buddy of mine, Jeff Risden, has been talking about this for a few weeks. I think the J-Mo thing happens sooner rather than later. I really, truly do.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how they utilize him in the offense this year. Obviously, Ben Johnson had him as the gadget player and the deep threat and started to work him in on some more things, throwing interceptions during playoff games and stuff like that. Brilliant call by Ben Johnson, by the way. But the way the new offensive coordinator is going to use J-Mo, if he has an explosive first half of this season and you see that, oh, my God, the way this offense clicks, you need a J-Mo, then they're going to extend him immediately. But if they start sputtering, J-Mo's not exactly what we all want him to be, I could see the Lions moving on from him. Just period, end of story.
I think we all threw money at Justin a couple months ago, Spenny. I know I throw $10 at him for Offensive Player of the Year. I think the potential is there, especially at the odds.
The way the coaches are talking, they think breakout season and all that, but coaches say a lot of shit during the offseason.
No doubt.
And it could, but I will say this to Dan Campbell and his regime. They don't normally blow smoke up your ass. Like when J-Mo was struggling, it was he needs to show up, he needs to prove it, he needs to earn his reps, he needs to earn those snaps. So, like, I trust them in what they're telling me on face value, but they've earned that trust, but they could also be using it against me.
I threw $10 at Justin and said, especially at the odds, but Stick, you're right. We are very close to coming back to the football discussion that we had earlier, only 31 days away. There are two things that I pray don't happen, okay? Don't overreact for these games because they don't mean dick. None of them. Stop it. Don't give me, try telling that to the third-string linebacker. This roster is set, okay? Stop it. Don't overthink this. These games don't mean
But I want Son Vaki to get some carries, Sean.
The second thing is, Stick, and you nailed it, okay? It's Camp Happy Times. It's Camp Happy Times. Everything that you're going to get out of camp is Legoland. Everything is awesome. It really is. Everybody's in great shape. But here's the difference, okay? This franchise has shown there's reality to that the last couple years, okay? And because of that, Stick, that goes back to what you say. I don't think this franchise, this brain trust, blows smoke when the smoke isn't there.
Yeah.
I really respect them for that. I really respect them for that.
Does that make them susceptible, though, to, like, people playing, because sometimes when you're too honest with people, they'll use your honesty against you. And
there's validity to that.
Hey,
there's validity to that.
I'm too honest as a person sometimes. I know I am.
That's something we have in common, my friend.
But yeah, when these guys are disclosing, like, yeah, we like him now, we're going to sign him, blah, 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 does that kind of work against them when you're bartering with somebody? Because when you're bartering with somebody, you don't want them to know what you like.
No.
You don't want them to know what you actually want. And these guys are just such honorable dudes. It's like, no, that's our dude. We drafted him forever.
I think, especially like with general managers, you have to be a professional liar. You really do. Okay, if you're not high on Simeon, okay, but I'm looking at Simeon and saying they're misusing this kid. I think this kid could be a stud. Do you think I'm going to sit down in a meeting with you and go, you're totally missing this guy? I'm going to go, look, this Simeon kid, I'll take him off your hand. But you're getting nothing more than a 6th-round pick.
Right. The Red Wings tried to do it with Vladimir Tarasenko.
They do it all the time.
Oh, he's still got a lot of gas in the tank. We're just trying to...
They do it all the time.
Yeah.
And I'd sit across the table from Steve and go, Stevie, baby, You and I both know. Like,
Yeah.
stop it. Like, what? Okay, you want to get rid of him. I get it. I'll take him. But you just need to know I'm not giving a lot
But
up.
Sean,
okay?
when he's on a World Series or a Stanley Cup level team, we saw him be an important factor. He can still do that. It's still there. He's only a couple years removed from that.
Well, and you know what? If this was 2019, I'd feel really good about Tarasenko and Gibson heading into this season as well. You know what I mean? But and that's, you have to be, stick to your point. You have to be I'm going to go in a room and tell you what I really think of him, of Simeon. No, I'm going to go, I understand why he's on the market, dude. I'm alive through my teeth.
Yeah, when I'm
and then I'm
selling
going to
my
look at you
house-
and go, dude, you need to know this is how much I believe in you. You're playing on my second line. I want you to know you are legitimately competing for that outside linebacker position, okay? What happens is up to you, but don't think that we just picked you up for shit. We really believe in you.
There's a sales pitch involved.
1,000%.
And with J-Mo, like I said, I think this first half of the season is going to write his story for the rest of his career, whether he's going to remain a Lion and be a huge part of this offense moving forward, or if they're going to try to get more back from him. And, you know, Brad Holmes loves those assets, and he could go get those assets with J-Mo. I love J-Mo. I don't want him off the team by any stretch of the imagination. I love the guy. So this isn't me pleading for that. It's just me putting on my GM cap and thinking, okay, I've paid Amon-Ra St. Brown. Goff's contract starting to escalate. I got Laporta coming up. I got Sewell already taken care of. That's going to escalate. Kirby's going to escalate a lot. Like, the salary cap is a real thing, and sometimes you can't have it all. J-Mo may be one of those casualties to where we don't have 16 to 18 million to give you, J-Mo, and I know that's what you're going to want in free agency. So I got to go try to get some draft capital for you now. And I don't want that to happen. Let me make that clear. I love this guy in the offense. I love what he brings to the Lions. I love how tough he's become. I love how he's evolved as a human. I love J-Mo. Love J-Mo. Want him here. But I can see a scenario where they can let him walk.
I wonder, honestly, I wonder if the fact that he is a Brad Holmes guy and Holmes took so much shit for taking him, I wonder if that is in his factor as well. I know people say you have to take emotion out of the equation. You have to think with your head and think with your heart. But I don't know. That's got to count for something with Holmes as well, right?
Yes and no, right? I mean, it's worked out for the most part because all his draft picks have hit, so he's been able to be loyal. I know, Jared Goff right there, the quarterback.
You should see underneath the table, something grew really big for Stick.
Yeah, Jared Goff talking and Dan Campbell talking about Quarterback, which premieres July 8th on Netflix. I cannot wait to watch it. Are they releasing it like week by week, or is it all just binge watch release?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Okay. There's Christian Harper talking to him.
I'm gonna guess on Netflix you could probably binge watch.
I would assume, because that's what they did with wide receiver. They just dropped them all.
They dropped it all.
Yep.
Shout out wide receiver.
Cool. They're showing Ford Road. They're showing Dearborn. Showing Jared Goff.
That stretch down to the facility.
God, I can't.
Oh, it's
wait.
all gonna be here soon. It's all gonna be here.
When we wake up tomorrow morning, Sean, we will be waking up in the very month the Lions are playing football in. The same month. When we wake up tomorrow, Spenny, it's the same month.
That is true.
The
Ready for
same
that Hendon Hooker Hall of Fame
This
game?
is the year. This is it, man.
Hendon Hooker will not make the 52-man roster. That is my bold
I don't think
prediction.
he will either.
Not.
I know we talked about that a
not.
few weeks ago, Spenny. I think we had that on our 4 Down Friday.
Yeah.
I don't think he makes a team.
No, from what I heard, even in the preseason camps and stuff like that, he's already been passed over.
Yeah, Kyle.
Down to number 3.
They said Kyle Allen was performing
Spinning
better.
That thing.
And it doesn't matter. Your starting quarterback goes down 99 times out of 100. Your season's over anyway.
I could not care less about that.
Gosh, it doesn't matter.
God, I hate Easy so much. Clip that. Stick wants to trade J-Mo. His punk ass gonna put that out on Twitter too. I know it. I know it, Easy. All right, where are we going, Spenny?
Let's go to break. I'll tell them about Mad Packs, then you tell us about
Mad
Buddies.
Packs. Sell those things.
Mad Packs, they are moving mad units. Make sure you tap in because you can find them at getmadpacks.com. They're going to be in a lot more stores now after that Meat Puff Connect. Make sure you tap in with Mad Packs. They got the tarantulas, the high-low pre-rolls, the Blizzard Pack, Moon Rocks, all of the good stuff, man. It's Mad Packs. Go to getmadpacks.com and Stick, why don't you tell us about Buddies?
What?
Stick, why don't you tell us about Buddy's Pizza?
I'll tell you about Buddy's. Hold on, Sean was trying to.
That
doesn't look like Peyton
That
Manning,
looks
does it?
nothing like Peyton Manning. Am I missing something?
I think it's just a bad camera angle. It's either that or there's a plan.
Maybe it's Cooper. Maybe Cooper's playing the role of his brother.
No, it says former Hall of Famer Peyton Manning. Oh, well, either way. You know what looks original and looks like the real deal? That Buddy's Pizza. We were down there broadcasting, and man, they just kept them coming. They got the new Smash Pizza, too, where it's like a smash burger, but in pizza form. So damn good. Sean, I'm telling you, get yourself some Buddy's tonight and save yourself some money while you're doing it. Use promo code 10MEAL and save 10% off your order on Buddy'sPizza.com.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
It's part beauty, part beast. It's for those who dare to be different, for those who want to stand out, and for those who are built for more. The all-new Ineos Grenadier combines strength.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Loom Cannabis, they should be your first choice. If you're looking to get some great stuff, go to loom.com. They've got the Buzzin' long drinks, great for the golf course, great for sitting by the campfire, great for out on the beach. They're perfect, 7.5 milligrams of THC in a can. Use promo code WSN30 to get 30% off your order. It's loom.com.
Welcome back to Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
What's wrong with Peyton Manning's face? No, there's something. What?
His nose looks huge.
It looks like he got a bee sting right on the nose.
It might also...
He even looks weird in that picture.
Like, yes. Like did
it
he
might
have
also
face
be,
work done or something?
It might also be the hat, too. We're used to having him like such a big forehead.
I don't think that's the hat.
Well, no, I'm just fucking around.
Are you seeing the picture, though? Like what Spenny brought up. Like they have an accompanying picture. There's something wrong with the man's face.
You know, like how alcoholics get that bloating look?
The big nose.
I'm not saying Peyton Manning's an alcoholic.
Didn't every one of our grandpas have that big red nose?
The flush
They all turned into Rudolph. It was great. It was like watching Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer year
But anyways, he's talking about, he's on Pat McAfee now talking about the new series coming out with Jared Goff. They were talking about how Omaha Films teamed up with Netflix and NFL Films, and they go behind the scenes and all that, and it's pretty neat. I can't wait to see it. I mean, anytime I get to watch Jared Goff do anything, I'm a happy man. I thought the Amon-Ra St. Brown stuff was really cool when they did a wide receiver, and I loved watching D-Hop on there too, and a couple other wide receivers. It's cool to get to know these guys and how they prepare, how they think going into the season, their families and stuff like that. I love this behind-the-scenes stuff, man.
You know what's funny, though? I've always said this, and I was always a stick in the mud, especially with Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks was not a true representation of what camp is. It just wasn't. The guys knew when the cameras were on. They knew when the lights were on and everything. Normal camp and Hard Knocks camp were...
I don't want to hear it, Sean.
Sorry.
I love that.
It was made for television.
I don't want to hear it. It was all real. It was just how it is. Dan Campbell's perfect. It ruined the illusion for me.
It was made for television. That's all I'll say.
It was such a good series, man.
Such
a good series.
Just real quick, just a couple stats I see on Twitter now. These are from Nugget Chef on Twitter. Tarik Skubal is the first left-handed pitcher in the pitch tracking era to have multiple starts of 13-plus strikeouts in fewer than 95 pitches. And Tarik Skubal is the fourth left-handed pitcher ever with multiple starts in a single season of 13-plus strikeouts, 0 runs, and 2 or fewer hits, joining Chris Sale in 2015, Randy Johnson in 2001, and Sandy Koufax in 65.
That's insane.
That's a pretty good list to be on.
That's insane.
Sandy Koufax, he was a pretty good pitcher.
Pretty good. So was Randy Johnson and Chris Sale. Chris Sale's still pretty good.
Sale's kind of the outlier, but yeah.
I don't know. Chris Sale's got some
Remember when
nasty
Sale
fucking
wouldn't pitch
stuff.
because he didn't like the throwback jersey that they were making him wear? Do you guys
I
remember
still
that?
remember this. Yeah. Remember when he accused the Tigers of looking at his pitches and everything?
Yeah.
And every time the Tigers got a pitch, like Ian Kinsler's on second base going like
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Gosh, that was outstanding.
Good old Chris Sale. I can't wait. What's that?
You're muted. Your mic's muted, Chase.
I said he won the NL Triple Crown last year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it's not like he's above.
Chris Sale's still-
I don't think he's above, but I don't think he's up there with Sandy Koufax. Like I don't look at Sale as an all-time great. I really don't.
He's one of those what might have
He's
been
an all-time
guys.
good.
Yeah, he what might have been.
Yeah.
Like honestly, because there were so many. It just always seemed like there was an upheaval or an injury or anything. But man, at his dominant best,
Yeah.
he was something.
Yeah.
And I mean, really, not that long ago, obviously, either. He it didn't work out in Boston, and then, he moved on, and he was the guy that, he had shown that he was.
And he was a dickhead in the locker room, and I think that works against you.
I know he had Tommy John. Did he have it twice?
He might have had it twice.
I think he had it in Chicago, and then he got traded to Boston, and then he had it in Atlanta.
It just seemed like there was always something going on with his elbow,
Yeah.
and he, at his best, he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Chris Sale was phenomenal.
My
He
first
really
Tigers
was.
game, I saw him pitch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Spenny put this in the prep.
All right.
I don't love this question.
All right.
Because I hate it's like picking between your favorite kids, honestly. I like them both. I think they're both going to be fantastic. Of course, they both could be anything they want to be. Who do you think is going to do better this year, the Lions offense or the Lions defense? And I think that's a tough question because of all the nuance. Like, does that mean the defense has to put up better numbers than last year and the offense has to put up better numbers than last year? What are you looking for in this question, Spenny? Can you clarify for me?
I mean, who performs better as a unit? What is the like when it's by feel? When you feel them on the field, like you're more comfortable with that unit being out there, the offense or the defense?
Offense.
So you think the offense?
Yeah. And you know what, guys? I'd rather have the offense be all that because that's what the NFL is today. It still is. Let there be, again, how people argue this is unbeknownst to me, let them have the line of scrimmage controlled. It still comes down to the trenches. Let this offensive line come together. I don't think we can minimize the Ragnow disappearance and retirement. I don't think there's any way we can minimize it, but it can get better as the season progresses. If this defensive line is as good as we think it is, yes, but I think, when you're talking top 5, okay, you're talking elite. Would you consider this Lion defense top 5?
It was last year.
I was going to say
they were top 10 last year through entirety,
right?
With all of the injuries,
right.
But also played a pretty soft schedule.
But they were top 5 before
the injuries. They were top 5.
So that's the great unknown, right?
But they're not playing the Titans and the Jaguars this year.
1,000%, and that's why I think this offense can continue to do what this offense has done, and then some. I mean that, and then some.
That's why the wording of this question, it can be answered several ways. Will the offense or defense be better for the Lions this season? If I'm comparing the two, the offense has to be better than the defense. Otherwise, what we're witnessing is a major regression in offense. And I don't think that can lead to Lions' success if that happens. But if we're talking who will be better compared to last year, I think the defense will take major leaps compared to what it did last year because the offense, not many parts have changed on it. The defense, a lot has changed on it, honestly. And I know we could talk about Frank Ragnow and all that, but your skill players are still the same. You still have Penei Sewell. You still have Taylor Decker. You still have Jared Goff, who can help with the protection scheme of any young center, helping him identify the mic and sliding the protection where he needs to. So in that aspect, I'm not really worried about the offense. But if the defense jumps the offense, that's not great for this Lions team.
No, I agree with you, especially in this league. I don't care what anybody says, especially in this league. And again, I don't want one person to say, oh, you think the defense is going to take a step back? I think it's much ado about nothing, all the talk about the defensive line. I'm sorry, I do. I think people have short memories. In a perfect world, would it be great to add an edge? Yes. And I don't know if you know this, but there is something called a trade deadline, that if something presents itself, and the NFL is very desirous into making that trade deadline something, if they want to add something, they can. But Spenny, to your point, I think people forget how good this defense was before the injury started. Now, some injuries are going to happen. That's the way it is. There's no way in Hades you're going to have the level of injuries that you had last year. It doesn't. There's no way that's going to happen. And especially when Hutch was in there, I think people forget just how good this defense was.
So what are we looking at then? Top 5, top 10 defense, top 5 offense?
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
Spenny, are you comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Or is that what it needs to be?
That's what it needs to be, and I think that's what it will be.
I think it's fair. I do. I don't think that's being slapdick. No, I think that's... This offense is so damn good, you guys. And I'm sorry, I don't
care. We haven't seen John Morton driving this thing.
True, but I'm
the great unknown, right?
I'm a firm believer in talent. I am. And we've got talent on this offense.
Yes.
You know what you do? Part of what made Jared Goff successful, okay, is you finally had a coordinator saying, hey, instead of trying to make my system work for him, how about I make my system work for him? You know what I mean? And you put that guy in positions of comfortability.
That's what great coaches do, right?
And
they coach to their talent.
And you know as well as I do, more often than not, it's ego. No. It's my system. Yeah. My system is what works. And if you don't fit my system, then you don't fit here. And that was a huge part of Jared Goff. So you had a guy that say, I'm not going to try to pound that square peg into a round hole. No. I'm going to make him fit. I'm going to make my offense fit to his skill set.
And I'm not worried about the coordinators on either side. Like, I have a lot of faith in Johnny Morton in this offense because, like you said, Jared Goff knows this offense like the back of his hand now. You still got all the same skill players. Handing the ball off to Jahmyr Gibbs or hitting Amon-Ra St. Brown on an out route is not like a complicated offense to get done. Obviously, they got to get the lingo and everything down like that. Not worried about that. Johnny Morton showed us in his very limited time as an offense coordinator, he can get the best out of guys like Austin Seferian-Jenkins, Robbie Anderson, Jermaine Kearse, and Bilal Powell. So I can expect him to do even better things with vastly better talent. The Frank Ragnow thing scares me, and it should scare people more. He was a top 10 offensive lineman in football. He was the best, if not the second best center in football. That should worry people. When we had Allen Robinson on, he echoed the same sentiments. He said, I'm not worried about Ben Johnson leaving. Johnny Morton's fine. Jared Goff knows the offense like the back of his hand. Frank Ragnow leaving sucks.
Well, you saw last year when Frank Ragnow struggled against the Bills, look how the offense looked.
Yeah.
When Ed Oliver was eating his lunch all game long, it was a long game for Jared Goff and everybody else helping. I agree it's a concern. I'm not jumping off a cliff because of it.
I think
because I think, like I said, they have enough pieces to be able to chip down with a guard to be able to help him in ways.
Yeah, I think that these guys are going to be good. Like, I have a lot of faith in Tate Ratledge. I have a lot of faith in Christian Mahogany and Miles Frazier going forward.
Frazier's the sleeper, man.
Graham's going to be good, but you are losing 2 Pro Bowl offensive linemen, Pro Bowl level, all pro level offensive linemen from last year's team with Kevin Zeitler and Frank Ragnow. You don't just replace that with
that was my take day one. I cannot, with a clear conscience, say out of one side of my mouth that Frank Ragnow was, if not the best, second best center in the league. And then when he decides to retire, say, no, everything's going to be okay.
Well,
there's going to be, and I know you're not saying that.
Can I play devil's advocate?
But I know but there's going to be a period of adjustment.
Yeah.
I think for continuity's sake, I think what it is at the beginning of the year and what it is at the end of the year will be two different things.
I'm going to throw a name at you.
All right.
Travis Kelce.
Okay.
Retired.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Kelce.
Jason Kelce.
Jason Kelce. I'm sorry. He retired. Best center in the league, arguably.
Yep.
Right? They replaced their offensive coordinator. What happened?
Mm-hmm.
They had success.
But there was
They
also
had a position in
hold on.
Yeah.
There was a period of adjustment.
Yes.
There was a period. Pete, go back and look with the Eagles at the beginning of last year. They struggled, remember?
But that goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. I don't give a fuck through 6 games.
That's
what
the way
happens with this team.
And that's all I'm saying.
If they're 500, right? If they're 0-6, then I can't.
I think there's going to be a period of adjustment, and by the end of the season, I'm not saying they're going to be every bit as good, but I think it'll be manageable. But stick to your point 100%. I've said it forever. I hear these people crying about coordinators. Did you just start watching football?
Right.
Did you? I'm not being funny.
Let's be honest. Lions fans have never felt the loss of a coordinator.
You never had to look and see how other teams live.
Well, no. What coordinator in my lifetime has ever left here to go on and lead something to anything? Jim Schwartz is probably the best head coach to ever continue his career, but it's not as a head coach. He went back to D.C., and now he's living the good life.
Terrell Austin.
Oh, he was going to be the next big thing, man. He was going to be the next. But I mean,
we don't know. Yeah. We don't know. No, we've never had the opportunity to have good coaches to be poached. So we don't know what this is like.
And that's been part of the problem here. We look at things from the Lions' perspective as opposed to Bill Belichick lost 50,000 coordinators. The Dallas Cowboys lost their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator and won 2 more Super Bowls. It's like I'm sorry, I think it's overblown.
I've already forgotten the Kansas City coordinator that everybody wanted for jobs after years.
Eric sleeping with Bieniemy.
Already forgot his name. You know why? Because he went to go be an OC without Andy Reid, and look what happened.
I mean,
I
don't know. They beat us.
Huh?
He's on the Commanders now, and they beat us in the playoffs. So I don't know about wah.
Hasn't he moved on a couple times too?
Yeah,
I think he's
with the
moved on a
Commanders
couple
right now.
times.
Didn't he go into college at one point?
Yeah, he was the Commanders coach last year, was he?
Yep.
Yeah, UCLA.
He was the OC for the Commanders last year.
I don't know if he was last year.
Okay.
Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury was the OC.
Like you brought up. Look at all the people that have left Bill Belichick. Romeo Crennel,
I think
Charlie
Cliff Kingsbury
Weiss.
was the OC
we can go
for the
on and on.
Commanders.
Josh McDaniel.
Yeah,
great. He was the Washington Commanders in 2023.
2 years ago.
Yeah, he left last year to UCLA.
See?
He's
not
now
there.
Do you want to know where he is now?
Where?
He's the running backs coach for the Chicago Bears.
But that's what
the next great coach, man.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't getting a chance, Sean, because people are hating on him. No, maybe just because people know Andy Reid's the secret sauce. Just like people are going to learn Dan Campbell's the secret sauce.
Well, it's a little different.
It is?
Yeah. Andy Reid is a much more analytical and play calling head coach than Dan Campbell is.
I think people sleep on that on Dan
But
Campbell.
no, it's not like Dan Campbell can't do it. But I also have faith in Johnny Morton to be able to run this offense and call the
Well,
play.
it's a Sean Payton offense
But
that Dan Campbell's a part of.
It's like I attest the Bieniemy and Andy Reid stuff to the Matt Patricia and Bill Belichick stuff. Like, Matt Patricia's the best defensive mind.
I think that's fair.
That's Bill Belichick's defense.
I think that's
like,
fair.
come on.
Yeah,
Eric Bieniemy is the best offense. That's Andy Reid's defense.
And see,
Andy Reid's offense.
That's why I laugh at all the people that cried and had a hissy fit over Dan Campbell being ranked where he was at. I totally get it. You should get it too. Whether you agree with it or not is one thing. But if you don't get it, you're not paying attention. Andy Reid was that guy. Andy Reid was Dan Campbell that came in and changed cultures, and he got teams turned around. And look what he did at Philly with the debacle there between McNabb and Terrell Owens. And Andy Reid became the guy that was never, ever going to win a Super Bowl.
Right.
And now he's the gold standard?
That's how it works.
That's
Sean.
how it works, man.
That's how life works.
That's
you're
what I'm
nothing
saying.
till you're something.
Stick, that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Anybody who gets upset over Dan Campbell, maybe you ain't paying attention to how things work.
Andy Reid also, fantastic play caller, like you said, fantastic offensive designer. A little bit of a Mahomes merchant. Just a little bit. But every good head coach is. It's not like there's this head coach that's won 5 Super Bowls with 5 different quarterbacks or anything like that. When you see the elite head coaches, they're normally
Andy Reid
paired.
had success with Alex Smith. He had success with Donovan McNabb.
Yeah, but again, nobody cares about that unless you win the Super Bowl. And they only cared about Andy Reid after he started winning Super Bowls.
Yep.
That's a reality. That's
a fun game.
That's how you change perception. Okay. I say it all that John Elway was literally the punchline for loser. Loser.
Yeah.
Okay? It's old Simpson episodes. There was always a John Elway Denver Bronco crack in there. That son of a bitch wins Super Bowls the last 2 years and turns into a human helicopter, and he's such a great winner now. I mean, you're talking about 16 years of that guy being pounded on nationally as a loser. He wins 2 Super Bowls, the entire thing changes.
Right. I mean,
that's the way it is.
That's what it is. It's a no-sum game. You're either a winner or you're a loser.
Yep.
And I hate that measurement, but
that's
why you play the game.
Hello. That's why I say it's reality, man. Anybody crying over him being 9, you aren't paying attention to the game. You aren't. You aren't paying attention to it. Do I agree with it? No, I don't. Because I think unlike a lot of other jobs, what he had to do is he had to get down on his hands and knees and get filthy, changing the stink out of this franchise. And it was stink.
That's one.
Every pore of this franchise stank.
That's one thing. Any success in the Honolulu Blue should be weighted. It should count as more. It really should. What Brad Holmes has done should count as more. What Dan Campbell has done should count as more. What Jared Goff has done should count as more. You know why? Because 50 years, 60 years, people had taken a crack at it. Trying this offensive coordinator, trying this quarterback, trying this GM, trying this OC.
It doesn't count as more until
none
they
of them
seal
worked.
the deal.
None of them worked. Not in the history of this entire franchise. None of them worked. But you know what's working? The guys that are in place right now.
You got it.
They had to fend off all those ghosts,
They
and they did it,
Bowl,
and now they're winning.
They got to win the Super Bowl to make it all better, like you said, to seal it all home.
Yeah, see, for me, the Lions don't have to win the Super Bowl. What these guys have done is taken you from the trailer park to living.
That's you becoming what you hate with the Matthew Stafford
No, it's
situation.
not me becoming what I hate. It's me knowing where I'm from. That's the difference. I can appreciate being at the floor level of my franchises now, Super Bowl or bust, instead of we may not win a fucking game.
If when all is said and done, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, whatever and they don't win a Super Bowl, I'm going off the Gordie Howe Bridge.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because
I'm going off the Gordie Howe Bridge.
This is awesome. This is awesome. It's the best Super Bowl I've seen, or the best football I've seen in my life for the Detroit Lions. But you got to win a Super Bowl or it doesn't matter. Flat out.
I can't think.
You got to win a Super Bowl or you're the Falcons. And you got to get to the Super Bowl to be the Falcons.
I need to dance on my grandfather's grave. I do.
That is the only thing that matters. We just got done talking about that in all the different aspects of sports. This is the only thing that matters is winning the championship or not. And if you don't win the championship, was it a great turnaround? Yes, it was. It was awesome. Do I love these guys? Absolutely. They're playing great football. You win a Super Bowl or you're forgotten, period.
I think nationally, yes, but locally, no.
We were talking about the Tigers earlier, okay? Like that fun era that started in 06.
Yep.
And then, we own the Central. Remember that? The cute little T-shirts and everything?
Yeah.
I look back at that whole era. Nice memories.
It's fun.
It was fun. I feel sick to my stomach when I think of 2013. Yeah. When I think of Big Papi. When I think of an era in Game 6. When I think of that. A couple head-scratching Jim Leland moves. I'm not joking. It makes me sick to my stomach. I don't like thinking about 2013. And then that infinite sorrow on that Sunday afternoon when they got eliminated by the Orioles, and you knew it was over. And at that same moment, God was telling me, I don't like you, Sean, because Ford Field was piling out after the Bills hit a 79-yard field goal and put Jim fucking Schwartz on their shoulders at the exact moment we lost that game. Mm-hmm. And that was God's moment to me saying, Sean, I don't like you. All right? I'm not a fan of yours. All right? Here's why I'm not a fan of yours, because the Tigers' run is over. You have nothing to show for it. And Jim Schwartz just came in and beat you and asked his defensive players to carry him off his shoulders. I think back to that stuff and I feel sick. I do. Yeah. And I don't want to have that feeling, but the Lions have to win a Super Bowl.
Got to cash one in.
Sauce Baggins with this quote, it's all about winning the Super Bowl, unquote. Quote, the Lions don't need to win a Super Bowl. And I think he was talking to me. But this is one of those Neil rules. Both things can be true, right? Like, I understand the Lions need a Super Bowl.
Can't have your cake and eat it too.
Hold on. I understand the Lions need to win a Super Bowl to be looked at all time around the country as the greatest ever. But what I'm enjoying as a fan is the fact that we're even having these conversations. It's no longer who are we drafting with our top 5 pick. So, yes, in the scheme of things, winning the Super Bowl is great. But in my history, as a Lions fan, being able to sit here and have the discussion that the Lions are going to the Super Bowl, that this is the new standard, that our floor now is making the playoffs, that we're going to dominate the division. I'm enjoying this as a Lions fan, whether they win a Super Bowl or not. That will be the cherry on top as a fan. But I understand nationally, and to all you guys who are Super Bowl or bust, you can't enjoy this football because they haven't won a Super Bowl. Fuck you. I'm enjoying this because it's what I've been waiting for my whole life.
It's fun to watch. Yeah. And like Sean said, I think very fondly of those Tigers teams that made the playoffs and that won pennants and that won the Central. And those were fun teams to watch. And I loved and enjoyed the baseball that I always watched. Now, when I go back and I think of those teams, I am reminded with failure and disappointment.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
And it's going to be the same exact thing if the Lions don't win the Super Bowl. That's what we're trying to say.
It's real.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. 2 years ago when they went to the NFC Championship game, I'm not looking back on that season and crying. That was the first time I ever got to enjoy playoff football. That was the first time I ever got to see a win in Ford Field at home in the playoffs for the Lions. I mean, we could cry and say, yeah, we didn't win the Super Bowl that year. We blew a 17-point lead. But I'm going to remember beating Matthew Stafford's punk ass in Ford Field with him coming back.
And that's
I'm
cool.
going to remember Baker Mayfield getting intercepted by Derek Barnes. Those memories are good to me. Just because they didn't win a Super Bowl doesn't mean that goes away to me.
See, this is where I'm going to disagree with you. 2006 didn't bother me for the Tigers. Because that was just the beginning.
Yes.
Everything's going to be okay because we're going to go to World Series. Yep. You know what? I look back and I feel sick to my stomach over 2006 now. So, Stick, to your point, am I mad at the 2023 Lions right now? No. Because the window's still open. But if we get to the era where the window's closed, I'll look back at 2023 and I will literally headbutt this window and have 700 stitches across my face. I'll be so pissed.
I don't want to be a 49ers fan right now.
Right.
No.
I don't want to be a Bills fan from
But think
Jim
about
Kelly
this.
era.
5 years ago, what would you have been to be the 49ers fan or a Bills fan?
Absolutely.
And that's what I don't want us to forget as a fan base, right? Yeah. And I get it. We can't always look past what we are. But 5 years ago, we would have killed to be the 49ers. We would have killed to be the Bills. Hell, we would have killed to be anybody but the Detroit Lions.
I don't want to get halfway up the mountain and say the view is good enough for here. I want to see the view from the top of the mountain.
Yeah, but
I'm saying for anything less than that.
I would rather get halfway up the mountain than live at the bottom my whole life. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know. Did you go through the same thing I did with 2006? It didn't bug me at all. I look back at 2006 now, the 2006 Tigers, and I feel sick to my stomach because they lost to a shitty team too.
Yeah,
San Francisco.
That's what is St. Louis.
They should not have.
All of a sudden, our pitchers didn't know how to field the ball.
Yeah,
that was crazy. That was crazy. And that's the thing. Hindsight 2020.
Sorry, Mr. C.
We'll look back when Woodward Sports is in 20 years. We'll go back and pull this tape. Thank you guys for being a part of the show today. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Ermanni and Edwards is up next. We are out of here for the day. Have a great one.
See you guys.